NATO leadership didn't trust her. When Colonel Lisa Parker was assigned to the Military Planning Division, her leadership ability was questioned. Too calm, too diplomatic, it was unclear whether she could make tough decisions in war situations. Supreme Commander Wilson wanted to limit her to strategic analysis. Parker never complained, focusing on her duties. Until the situation on the Ukrainian border became critical and Parker's combat leadership expertise saved lives. At that moment everyone understood that Parker was not an ordinary advisor. Welcome to Stories of Honor. Before we begin this powerful story of hidden war leadership, critical strategic decisions, and life-saving command, tell me in the comments which city you're watching from today, and if you believe stories like this need to be told, hit that subscribe button and help us keep these stories alive. At NATO headquarters in Brussels, on a cold March morning, 12 experienced generals and colonels sat in the Strategic Planning Center. Each had decades of military experience, served in operations worldwide, and made critical war decisions. Standing before them was a 39-year-old, medium height, calm woman. Colonel Lisa Parker looked extremely professional in her NATO standard uniform. Her brown hair was in a neat bun, her face showing a serious but calm expression. As she placed the folder in her hand on the table, she could feel the senior commanders in the room evaluating her. "Good morning," said Lisa, her voice clear and determined. "I'm Colonel Parker. From now on, I'll be working with you as Eastern Europe Strategic Planning Coordinator." Silence. 12 senior officers looked at her, most not seeming particularly impressed. General Marcus Wilson, 53 years old with 30 years of field experience, NATO Supreme Allied Commander, was the first to speak. "Colonel Parker, which combat operations have you commanded before?" "I've been involved in various missions, sir," Lisa said diplomatically. "My expertise is in strategic planning and logistics coordination." General Antonio Rodriguez, Spanish, 50 years old, who had served in the Balkans for years, gave a meaningful look to his friend General Hans Müller. "Strategic planning, theoretical or based on field experience?" "I use both approaches, General Rodriguez. I combine academic knowledge with field reports." General Catherine Morrison, British, 48 years old, the other female officer in the room, spoke with a skeptical tone. "Colonel, decision-making in real combat situations is very different. Quick judgments are needed under pressure." Lisa nodded. These doubts weren't new. She had served in various positions at NATO for 6 years and always saw the same reactions. Because of her calm temperament and diplomatic approach, colleagues saw her as a desk officer. "Let's move on to today's security briefing," said Lisa, opening the digital map. "We've detected unusual military movements in Eastern Europe, especially on the Ukrainian border." General Wilson examined the file. "Parker, how do you assess this type of intelligence? Pure analysis or based on operational experience?" "I use a combination, sir. I cross-reference data analysis with tactical realities." "Tactical realities," said General Müller with a German accent. "You have served in tactical positions?" Lisa hesitated. The truth was much more complex. Before her 6 years at NATO, she had commanded special operations in Afghanistan for 5 years. But this information was classified and inappropriate to share in the meeting. "I have limited experience, sir. But I received comprehensive training in tactical operations." General Morrison rolled her eyes. "Training and real combat are very different, Colonel." Throughout the meeting, Lisa presented threat assessments, logistical planning, and strategic recommendations. Her knowledge was flawless, her presentation professional. But the generals didn't seem particularly impressed by her. Most were making eye contact with each other instead of taking notes. "Tomorrow we have our emergency coordination meeting for the Ukraine border situation," Lisa said at the end of the meeting. "Everyone review your contingency plans." As the generals left the meeting room, their conversations reached Lisa's ears. "Does this woman have real war experience? She seems too theoretical. Can she do field command? I'm not sure if she can make tough decisions in crisis situations." Lisa quietly collected her materials. This had been going on for 6 years. Because of her calm demeanor and diplomatic approach, senior commanders didn't find her suitable for war leadership. And Lisa couldn't tell them the truth. Because the truth was classified. She couldn't tell them that she had spent 5 years in Afghanistan commanding Operation Steel Eagle, managing the most dangerous special operations, making life-or-death decisions under extreme pressure. These operations were kept on a need-to-know basis. The next day, the NATO Crisis Management Center was bustling. A major military buildup had been detected on the Ukrainian border. Lisa was monitoring real-time intelligence flow in the command center. "Colonel Parker." General Wilson's aide came running. "Emergency meeting, sir. Ukrainian border crisis escalating." Lisa immediately grabbed her materials and ran to the conference room. Inside were Wilson and senior commanders, everyone's faces tense. "What's the situation?" asked Lisa. "Massive troop movements on the Ukrainian border," said Wilson. "Potential invasion scenario. Immediate response planning needed." Lisa's pulse quickened. She had experienced this type of crisis situation hundreds of times in Afghanistan. "Do we have current intelligence assessment?" she asked. "We have preliminary reports but no detailed tactical analysis," said General Rodriguez. "Can you do data crunching?" Lisa hesitated. Real-time crisis management, troop movements, enemy capabilities assessment, she had done these on a daily basis in Afghanistan. "Of course," she said simply. "I can do analysis." She went to the computers and examined incoming intelligence data. But not just numbers, pattern recognition kicked in. Troop deployment patterns, logistics indicators, timing analysis. Her Afghanistan training was on autopilot. "Troop concentration in eastern sectors," said Lisa. "Approximately 150,000 personnel, mixed infantry and armor units." "How do you know these numbers in such detail?" asked General Morrison suspiciously. "From satellite imagery and communications intercepts," Lisa said quickly. But she actually knew because enemy force assessments were a matter of survival in Afghanistan. "Do you have response strategy recommendations?" asked Wilson. Lisa mentally evaluated tactical options. Defensive positioning, rapid deployment capabilities, logistics support, all were muscle memory. "3 primary options," said Lisa. Defensive reinforcement of NATO eastern border. Forward positioning for rapid deployment of mobile units. Diplomatic engagement with economic sanctions support. "Which option do you recommend?" asked Rodriguez. Lisa thought. Enemy capabilities, timeline assessment, political implications. She had learned multidimensional analysis in Afghanistan. Combination approach. Diplomatic engagement with military deterrent. Show of force without escalation. "Impressively comprehensive analysis," said General Mueller, surprised. At that moment, the emergency alert system activated. Immediate alert. Border incident reported. Ukrainian forces under attack. Wilson panicked. "What's the response time for deployment?" "Minimum 8 hours for conventional deployment," said the operations officer. "Too long," Lisa said quietly. "We need rapid response teams." "What kind of rapid response?" asked Wilson. Lisa hesitated. The crisis moment had come. Either reveal expertise or watch the situation deteriorate. "I can organize immediate tactical response," said Lisa. "Rapid deployment protocols." "How?" "You're a strategic planning officer." Lisa took a deep breath. "Actually, I have field command experience." Silence in the room. Everyone looked at her. "What do you mean?" asked Rodriguez. "I commanded special operations in Afghanistan for 5 years. Rapid response teams, crisis management, tactical deployment." Jaws dropped. Wilson leaned forward. You were a special ops commander?" "Operation Steel Eagle." "Classified missions." "File sealed." General Morrison stood up. "Steel Eagle?" "We heard whispers about that operation." "Details remain classified," Lisa said firmly. But right now I can organize rapid response. Wilson nodded quickly. Do it. Whatever you need. Lisa went to the command center, establishing direct communication with field units. Alpha Squadron, this is Colonel Parker. Emergency deployment order. Copy, Colonel. What's the mission? Lisa activated her tactical mind. Unit capabilities, deployment timelines, mission objectives. Eastern Border reinforcement. 72-hour rapid deployment. Logistics package Charlie. Roger. Moving immediately. Lisa coordinated multiple units simultaneously, her mind processing logistics, timing, resource allocation. Her experience from countless operations in Afghanistan kicked in. Bravo team, airlift support needed. Golf units, supply chain activation. In the command center, everyone watched in amazement. Lisa was orchestrating a complex military operation as if it were a daily routine. Colonel Parker, came the voice from the radio from the field commander, deployment timeline impressive. How did you coordinate this so efficiently? Experience, Lisa said simply. 6 hours later, the rapid deployment was successful. NATO forces positioned, crisis stabilized, diplomatic channels opened. Wilson turned to Lisa, his expression completely changed. Colonel. Operation Steel Eagle is legendary. You commanded Special Forces teams under extreme conditions? Lisa nodded quietly. Among other responsibilities. General Rodriguez stepped forward. Colonel Parker, I owe you an apology. We completely underestimated your capabilities. It's not necessary, said Lisa. Sharing classified information was prohibited. But tonight you prevented a potential war, said Morrison. Real field expertise, not theoretical. Wilson addressed the room. Obviously, Colonel Parker's background changes everything. From now on, crisis operations will be under her oversight. Sir, said Lisa, I prefer to continue in the strategic planning role. My field command days are behind me. But your expertise is invaluable, insisted Wilson. I can combine strategic analysis with operational experience. Best of both approaches. In the following weeks, Lisa's status was completely transformed. Generals showed her different respect. Questions became more serious, collaboration genuine. Lisa, said Wilson one morning, your tactical perspective is valuable in new Eastern Europe defense planning. Of course. I can combine strategic analysis with field experience. Rodriguez approached. Colonel, Steel Eagle operations, how did you manage complex deployments under pressure? Lisa smiled slightly. Planning, adaptability, trust in your teams. Most importantly, staying calm when everything's chaotic. That's advanced crisis leadership, said Mueller. Survival skill, said Lisa. Clear thinking saves lives. Morrison nodded. That's why tonight's operation succeeded. You're calm under pressure. Lisa felt satisfaction. Not because of recognition, but because of the team they'd built. Strategic expertise and operational experience combined for NATO's mission. Remember, said Lisa, concluding the briefing, military planning is both science and art. Data guides decisions, but human leadership makes the difference. Yes, Colonel, the team responded respectfully. Her secure communication device buzzed, priority alert, Baltic states threat detected. Need immediate strategic response. Let's go, said Lisa, gathering materials. Wilson grinned. Lead the way, Colonel. We trust your judgment, and your experience. Lisa smiled back. This was where she belonged, using her combat experience to prevent conflicts, leading a team that respected both her mind and her warrior heart. Have you ever had to use your difficult past experiences for leadership? Did your hidden expertise save lives at unexpected moments? Share in comments. If this story touched you, subscribe to Stories of Honor. We'll continue telling stories of extraordinary service. See you in next story. Until then, show persistence in challenges. Because protecting peace requires extraordinary leaders.